Welcome back to Creek Week Storytime with Catawba Riverkeeper. I'm Morgan and I'll be your host today. For this video, we will be reading The Busy Beaver by Nicholas Oldland. We are on the Carolina Thread Trail in McAdenville once again, ready to read our book. We're right under that railway bridge and it's very tall as you can see. And we're going to get settled in right next to the river here in just a second to read our new book. But before that, I would love to remind you that while you are out and about this week, pick up some trash while you're out. We do have a week-long competition going on where whoever submits the coolest, most unique piece of trash they can find, we have prizes. So in order to submit those, you can post a picture on your social media account, tag us in it so that we can see it, or you can email it to me at morgan@catawbariverkeeper.org. And if you haven't checked it out yet, we do have our Creek Week activity book live on our website. It has a list of all the fun things you can do, as well as how to become a citizen scientist and learn how to use iNaturalist in the Seek app. There are some fun activities for all ages. Just choose the page that you think is best for you. And then there is our scavenger hunt bingo. The goal of this is to fill in as many spaces as you can, as well as some other activities, those intricate coloring pages, and an opportunity to get creative and write a poem or draw a picture. Time to start our book, The Busy Beaver by Nicholas Oldland. There once was a beaver who was so busy that he didn't always think things through. This beaver's carelessness was becoming a problem. His dams leaked and he always made a mess of the forest. He left trees half chewed and worse. He felled more than he needed. Perhaps worst of all, the beaver went about his work with so little thought that a tree landed right on top of a bear. And once, he even chewed a moose's leg, thinking it was a tree. The beaver was just that careless. It was only a matter of time before something went terribly wrong. Crack! Sure enough, one day the beaver was so busy chewing on a tree that he failed to notice it was falling in his direction. The beaver woke up in the hospital with a bent tail, 2 broken limbs, 3 cracked ribs, 4 big bruises, 5 sprained fingers, 6 twisted toes, 7 little cuts, 8 stinging scratches, 9 sore muscles, and 10 nasty slivers. He had spent his entire life chewing, swimming, and building. He had never sat still for a second. Now he could barely even scratch his nose. At first, all the beaver could do was stare at the ceiling. But little by little, he began to heal. With lots of rest, he regained his strength, and before too long, he was trying out a pair of crutches. Eventually, the beaver was able to hobble over to the window. This was the first time he noticed his leaky dam, the mess of trees he had left half chewed, his friends' bandages, and a family of homeless birds. He realized he had a lot of work to do. The next day, the beaver embarked on a rigorous rehabilitation program. He got back on his feet, did lots of yoga, and lifted weights. While he was at it, the beaver caught up on some important reading and practiced saying, "I'm sorry." Soon enough, He was ready to go home. The beaver's friends were a little worried about his return to the forest. "Run for your lives!" yelled the bear. But despite their concerns, the beaver went straight to work. "Hi, guys," said the beaver. Before the beaver started his first project, he did a full tree inspection, checked to see if there were any animals in harm's way, and carried a frightened caterpillar to safety. Then the beaver went ahead and built the family of homeless birds a new nest. Next, the beaver apologized to his friends for being careless and causing so much damage. "Sorry, guys." To show that he meant it, he made the bear a vase for his den, and he built a canoe for the moose. "Thank you," said the bear. "Apology accepted," said the moose. The beaver's final task was to clean up the mess he had made in the forest. He hauled off the trees that he had left half chewed, used the broken branches to fix his leaky dam, and planted saplings to replace the trees he had felled. With the forest back in order, everyone was happier, including the beaver. His work done, the beaver got to thinking about what he might do next. He came up with lots of ideas as he got ready for bed that night. Maybe he would take a course on dam building, or start a band and go on tour, or take more naps. The beaver liked this idea best. Being busy doing good work was exhausting. With a yawn, the beaver laid his head down on a soft bed of leaves and fell right to sleep. All that was left for the beaver to do was dream. That was such a great story. I don't know about you, but I am so glad that the beaver learned how to be more considerate of others and to care for his friends, and to take some time to relax. Because we can't just keep going all day long. Sometimes a nap is necessary. But don't lay down for your nap yet. It's time for our activity. So for today's activity, we're going to make a dam, but we're going to make it a little differently. So beavers build dams to stop moving water so that they can back up the water behind it to create a deeper area for them to swim in. But the dam is not where they actually live. Beavers live inside of a lodge, which is a separate creation that they make in the water. So now it's your job to draw or map out what your beaver neighborhood might look like. So if you were a beaver, you would have a dam, you would have a small pond or body of water behind it, and somewhere nearby you would have your lodge in the water, which is where you would go to sleep. So draw it out, show who would live in your neighborhood. Maybe there are some fish friends that live nearby. Maybe there's some deer that come to hang out. Draw out your beaver neighborhood however you wish, but just remember, in this picture, you are a beaver. So glad you joined us for Storytime. Now go get creative and make your beaver neighborhood.